Hello, everybody, and welcome to Blood and Popcorn. I am TJ Rotell, and with me, as always, the lovely, the talented, the Demogorgon, Denise Pantoja. Hello, Denise, and our odd movie master himself, the one and only Mr. Glenn Akers. Glenn, how you doing, Denise? How you gluing? How you gluing? How you doing?
I glue very well, thank you.
You are
for
the glue
asking.
that holds this team together, Denise. So I'm glad to hear you're still out there gluing and doing.
I try.
Uh,
Gluing
we've
and
we've
doing
we
and brewing.
yeah,
Sorry.
we are deep now into the holidays of horror with our second movie of the season, and tonight we've got the 2021 day after Thanksgiving zombie romp, known as Black Friday. This is it's a fun one. Devin Sawa, Bruce Campbell, good cast,
Hmm.
Michael J. White, and it's about a early morning shift on an overnight shift at a toy store, and some sort of parasitic infection that mutates people, turns them into kind of bloodthirsty zombie adjacent monsters occurs, and hilarity and blood and guts ensues. Well, this was a fun one. What did you guys think? Initial thoughts on Black Friday?
Glenn? Oh my gosh, my computer's being stupid. Glenn? Nope. I can't hear you.
Oh, I
Can you
can't hear
hear him?
Glenn either. No.
Glenn,
Haha.
where have you
Sorry
gone?
about that.
There he goes. There it is. There he
Ha.
is. He's back, ladies and
This
gentlemen.
guy.
Technology. Oh man. Yeah, I didn't read anything about this beforehand. I thought this was just gonna be like crazed shoppers and it was gonna get out of hand and be like not really a slasher, but like grounded-ish in reality. I was not expecting this to be
Really?
what it was. Um i- is it a parasite or is it an alien? Didn't it come from the sky?
How about
It
it's a parasitic alien?
Yeah, it's
Mm,
like it very much had Slither vibes.
yes.
Very much had Slither vibes.
Strong Slither vibes.
It sure did.
Like,
It did.
I
very
mean,
much.
I'm pretty sure they show it shooting through the roof at the beginning, don't they?
Yeah, yeah.
They
They
do.
show like a
Anyways,
big hole, but like and when it shot through the roof, and I was like, did the flashlight shoot through the roof? Because initially that's what I thought. I was like, someone
yeah,
threw a flashlight at a high velocity and it broke through the roof of that Allmart.
you're right.
Oh my.
Uh, anyways, I actually rather enjoyed this probably because I wasn't expecting supernatural alien adjacent, which is more my speed, I guess, in this type of thing.
Yeah.
Rather than
So I was,
reality.
yeah, yeah, reality's not great
Mm.
currently.
No, kind of makes you wish there was some sort of slimy alien meteor that would fall through and
Yeah,
fall
Cleanse
through a roof.
our. Yeah.
that would be
Well,
great. Yeah, that was my initial reaction to it. What about you, Denise?
um, so this was the second time I had seen it. I saw it. Hey, you shush up, phone.
What are you
Whatever.
watching? You watching TV over there, D?
I like to multitask. No, because I want to
Wow.
make sure that you say I bump around a lot. I pop around a lot, so I want to make sure that I'm
You're in the frame.
in the frame.
Got it.
So, you know, I don't want to disappoint you.
Go ahead, D. Tell us your story.
Anyway, so this is the second time I watched it. I remember being slightly disappointed the first time I watched, and I can't even tell you why, right? I don't know what it
Mm,
was I was expecting the first time that I didn't get out of the first watch, but rewatching it was really good because I enjoyed it and I didn't have any major complaints. I mean, I have a few picadillos, but it was a fun um imagining of how horrible people can be in real life, but like, correlating it to, like you said,
Mm,
not in reality. Because I mean, there's got to be a little bit of commentary on how um maniacal and monstrosity, like how much people can be like monstrosities on that
yeah.
day. I've been shopping on that day before,
I
many
refuse.
times.
I refuse to do it. I don't want to. I don't want to go. I don't want to do it. I never wanted to do it.
I
I
don't
worked
think it's that.
retail on that day once.
Oh my
Ew,
God, bless.
where?
Hashtag
Did you
bless.
say where?
Yeah.
American Eagle.
Oh,
Oh
wow.
shit! You get some turtlenecks and
It's fancy.
Thankfully, I was at like the end of the day.
so most of the
'Cause
bloodthirsty shoppers had come and gone.
yeah, it was the like everybody crashing from their over caffeinated mornings,
Just
uh,
stumbling around.
wanting to know the different cuts of our jeans. Um,
Wow.
yeah.
All the doorbusters are gone. Sorry, everybody.
Yeah, all
Yeah,
we have
right.
left are these loose fit uh 34 44s and
34, 44.
Right.
extra, smaller waist, longer leg.
Dark rinse washes, but it's different than dark resin wash. Those were
That's funny.
actual.
uh
Actually, speaking of that, this is a note I had, but I don't want to jump ahead, but I might as well since I already brought it up.
Why not?
I really liked the line. It's not really a plot point, but it does get brought up a couple of times where they call it Green Friday instead of Black Friday because they said that is racist,
oh,
even though it's
corporate, yeah.
not.
Corporate says it's racist.
What's funny is
Oh,
like that exchange is like verbatim how I have a memory of it at American Eagle because we weren't allowed to call it Black Friday. We had to call it Green Friday.
stop
Oh
it.
my god, that's too
They didn't
funny.
say it was racist. They were just like it's a negative connotation, and I was like it means in the black. It's a good thing. Uh
Oh my gosh, but it did eventually, well, not eventually, probably fairly quickly become such a terrible thing because of the way people were behaving. So
Oh yeah.
Black Friday, like it's a black
right.
cloud coming over. Because I mean, I think once upon a time maybe there could have been good deals, but eventually, like TJ at one point he's like, I don't know why you're getting up early. He's like, you're buying outdated, like, especially for the tech stuff, you're buying
Mhm.
outdated tech. This is the stuff they're trying to get rid of.
Yeah.
And then of
Yeah.
course now you have online shopping, which is crazy, right? You can get crazy deals where they mark up the things just so they can mark them down a little bit and still be,
Yep.
it's it's the same tricks that they used in store. Um so I don't think it's as big a deal anymore. Although I haven't been out in years because there hasn't been a reason for me to be out, right? Like when it was like, oh, you're looking for like the Nintendo Switch or something like that for your nieces and your nephews, and you want to go and get
Yeah.
a particular Xbox or a
Something would
PlayStation or
release
something.
on that day. It wouldn't just be a sale item. It would be
Right.
released on that day. My mom did a lot when we were kids, did a lot of Black Friday shopping for
A
us
lot of
kids.
waiting in line.
Yeah, like
Oof.
the Nintendo DS was a big one. My little brother really wanted that. I got one too because
You're
they
right.
thought I
I
would
said
like it.
Switch. I meant DS.
The Switch was probably had a similar
I'm sure it
a
Nice.
did.
similar
That was
vibe going on.
pre-pandemic.
Yeah, but yeah, I think like the thing for me is like you see these videos of Black Friday, like security videos of people like running over each other and like punching each other in the face for a fucking Beanie Baby or some shit, and it's just wild to see.
It's
And I
disgusting.
think that the heart of this movie captures that mentality because you get to see a little bit of that. You see a little security footage, people fighting with each other and pushing and shoving and getting
Hmm.
very angry at one another for doing, for trying to stealing from one another. It's a wild concept. And to think to take the idea of of human beings turning into monsters, consumerist monsters, and actually visualize it and make them monsters. I thought it
Hmm.
was a really clever move.
Mhm.
I had some qualms with my only real qualm with the movie, and I think this was my issue with it the first time we watched it, was that I don't understand the monsters. Like I get that they're zombies, they're plagues, it's a parasite, it's some sort of thing making them
Hmm.
to go wild, but why do they turn into these like chicken-esque looking kind of fanged beaked mutants?
Right. There's a mutation,
Yeah, there's a
Mhm.
mutation going on that occurs
like a
on some
major
of them,
mutation.
and some
Hmm.
of them hang around to do more damage while others flock to this giant pink blob in the center of the store
And
that's
then
growing.
why was the one lady who was like a total bitch in the beginning, why was she mega mom?
Yeah.
Like why was she chosen to be
Yeah,
the face of the
the
monsters, if
face
you
of the
will.
monsters. Yeah, it was that was really my only issue because I don't need to know like where the meteor came from. I'm of the Romero school of thought where it's like I don't need to know why the zombie apocalypse started. I'm happy to get dropped right in the middle of it. I do like that
Mhm.
this picks up right away. We get like very little exposition and then we go right into the action. But yeah, that I think that's the thing that bugged me the first time around, and it's a thing that bugged me this time around. And I don't even want to say it bugged me. It was just like a weird choice. Like someone had a VFX friend, and they were like, "Hey, I got these cool masks with these fangs that I made, and we could put them in the movie." And production was like, "Yeah, that'll look really cool," and then they did it.
Yeah.
And then someone in the office was like, they were like, well, why though? And they were like, shut up, man. It's going to look cool. And you're like, all right. And then they just had to go with it. And then the movie came out and they were like, fuck, we probably should have explained why they were turning into chicken monsters.
Nah.
Because you even see it when in the end with the big monster, it has a chicken wing arm. And I don't understand why it has this one like kind of
Hmm.
beaked face. And then the other,
Yeah, I did notice that.
yeah. And then
Mhm.
it spits like this webbing out of its mouth, which I thought was cool. I thought like, cause it had that, there's is it like a fungus thing that like like there's like bugs
Yeah.
that spit that white stuff out and it like to capture their food and like draw it back in. And
Yeah.
Ooh,
it's a super gross thing to watch like in
that is
nature.
gross.
So to see humanoid monsters do it
Mhm.
was really interesting. But I do like the transmission system in
Mhm.
that.
Same.
Because I thought that was a really fun and unique way to get around Slither using worms to turn people into mutant monsters.
Right.
But yeah, but I digress. But I think, like overall, like I enjoyed it. I think the cast was really good. The cast was pretty rocking. I don't think there was a weak link. Devin Sawa, Ivana Baquero, Ryan. I really like Ryan Lee. I think he's super
Mhm.
talented.
He was
Stephen
Mhm.
Peck
great.
made a great like foil for the Bruce Campbell manager. He was really fun. Michael J.
Bruce
White.
Campbell was
Anytime you can see Michael J. White in a
excellent.
movie, that's great. Bruce Campbell's a fucking legend.
Oh, yeah.
I watched as soon as I got done watching this, I watched My Southern Family Christmas, which is a Hallmark movie with Bruce Campbell in it,
I was like, what is
where he
that?
where he plays a Louisiana meat pie shop owner who's
It's
it's like, but
great.
Bruce Campbell has such amazing range. Like you think of Bruce Campbell and you're like, oh, Evil Dead, and that's that whole franchise. And if you were into Xena or like Jack of all trades, like you can like see like he did a lot like Burn Notice. Like Bruce Campbell's
Burn
had a,
Notice,
had
I
a,
was
had
gonna
an
say.
impressive career.
Mhm.
But I think people constantly loop him in with Evil Dead and this like slapsticky horror comedy kind of guy. But he's actually a really talented and nuanced depth level actor.
All around, he's
And
fabulous.
this was one of those cases where he plays a really interesting character who's really fun to watch. I don't quite understand his motivation for jumping in the pit at the end, but I mean, hey, like they had to get
He
rid of
didn't
him
have anything
somehow.
else.
Yeah, like he's like, I want to go out a hero, and then they're like, all right, I guess jump in that pit, and
Thanks.
there you go.
Yeah. Um,
Um,
Agreed. I have that note about Bruce Campbell too. Like he's fantastic as usual, and so happy that he, is able to continue to expand. Like even this is a horror movie, but it's a very particular character, right? And it's a very unique character, and he's got really great mannerisms, um, and I buy it, right? I buy him as this character just as much as I buy him as this Louisiana meat pie maker, just as much as I buy him as a fucking country star in another Christmas movie that he's done that we love. It's really cute.
yeah,
But
I can't remember. He's a country like a with Peter Gallagher, right? They do,
yes,
and
they're
they're
like a
like he's got
duo.
Alzheimer's or something, and he's like gets diagnosed with Alzheimer's. Really, it was a really like tearjerker
Oh my
movie. And
god, it
again,
was very
Bruce
poignant.
Campbell killed it in that movie.
Mhm.
Um,
Um, but he plays a sad tool really well in this one.
yeah, well, and he is really sad. He goes through his whole, and that's what I really liked about this movie is like all the characters they have depth. Like it's not something, and what they do, I think, very effectively is this was like a 90-minute movie. I don't know if I can find the
It
runtime
was an
quickly.
hour and 23.
85.
Yes, not even 90. And what they managed to accomplish in that very standard window is they tell you a little bit of something about each character that you're going to go on this journey with, and make you feel either disdain or a kinship or a relationship with those characters, and they do it pretty quick, which I really like. That's a tough thing to do in horror.
Mhm.
Because usually, you're just like your Friday the 13th, your Nightmare on Elm Street, you just kind of get like here's your stereotype, and then
Right.
now they're dead, and you're like, oh, okay, there it is. Like the jock is dead. He gets shot with a football in the face or something. You know what I mean? It's just, but this was really interesting. You did kind of get this feeling of everyone had a story. Everyone was real in that world in their own way.
Mhm.
Even Emmett, the new guy, like you got right away. You kind of got like, hey, I'm in. Like he like, and that's the thing I love too. Like he rolls in on his like wheelies, and he's got a Hawaiian shirt on, and that's just a great example of how like costuming and in a script can tell a lot about a character right away, because you're like, oh, this guy's a douche. Like clean straight out the
Yeah.
gate, he's like, name's Emmett. You can call me M. And Devin Sawa was like, no, I'm not going to
I
do
can't. I
that.
can't do that.
Which
I
was
mean,
really fun. Did you guys have a favorite character?
oh boy. Um, I mean, I Archie was great because he's a badass, right?
Yeah.
And it's so sad. So sad when Archie gets fucking. I like Chris too, though. Well, it's interesting that you say that about the characters, though, because I kind of wished we had a little more with everybody else. So Devon Sawa he's sort of teed up to be like the hero, right? In a way, and then he's fighting his own battle alone when they separate. It almost the way they pay attention to Chris, it's almost as if it's his story more than anybody else's, because there's a lot more attention paid to Chris that I would have liked with the other characters, because Chris is set up perfectly.
Mm.
And I feel and I feel his pain too, because I'm not like a huge germaphobe, but like a lot of the stuff that he's like, "Ugh," I'm like, the same, and it's one thing I found really hilarious is that this is the germaphobe. This is the guy who's just like absolutely hand sanitizer every 5 seconds, and she's pulling out this piece of turkey so that they can all share it instead of letting somebody grab their own turkey, like whoever grabbed the first piece. She hands it to him, and I'm like, that boy ain't gonna eat that. She has
Yeah,
her
no
hands
way.
all over. She's bloody. She has not washed her hands, and she's touching this lunch meat and handing it to everybody.
Oh, and it's so slippery looking. The
Mhm.
lunch meat was so wet.
Well, she had to smell it too to make sure it hadn't gone bad, so it was
But
probably on
that
its way
wet,
over.
I don't know if I would have eaten that. They probably all got sick. Those of those who survived probably all got very sick from that lunch meat. It did not look,
Sick in a different way, not like the,
yeah, not go
other.
into the cotton candy cocoon. What about you, Glenn? Did you have a favorite character?
Um, the mean old lady.
The one who turns into the weird
Yeah,
chicken monster at the end?
maybe because she turned into it, but maybe because I just liked her. I probably shouldn't repeat it, but her "get it together, dickless" line. I was like, oh, okay. I kind of like you a lot, even though you're awful.
She sounds like a real delight.
Yeah, speaking.
she she reminded me of, ooh, what was the character? Magnus from Something About Mary, which
Oh
is
yeah,
Mm,
probably why I liked her.
yeah, I could see
Who is
that.
Lynn Shay,
Hmm.
right?
mhm.
She
Yeah,
played that. Yeah.
a
Anyways,
very
I don't know.
crispy fried Lynche.
It could
Yeah,
have been because,
speaking of
yeah.
great lines,
Sorry.
or go ahead, Glenn.
No, I was gonna say probably because she is like the main face of the end creature,
Yeah.
and I'm still like riding high off of the substance. No spoilers, but if anybody's seen that,
I can't wait
that
to
makes
talk about
sense.
can't wait to
Oh,
talk about
yeah.
the substance on this show.
We really need to talk about the substance.
It's
Yeah,
so
absolutely.
fucking good.
Oh my god,
Anyways,
so good.
Yeah,
Movie of the
it
year.
was phenomenal.
Yeah,
anyways,
speaking of great lines, this movie, there was one that I wrote down that I really liked, and it's the police are here now, and their monster, or their police are here and they're monsters now, and then the girl says now, and it's
great line.
and I was like, oh,
Great line.
that's a fantastic line. That's a good
It was
one.
pretty great.
But yeah, I think like cast wise, I mean I really like Chris. I mean I
Mhm.
love Devon Sawa. I'm a huge Devon Sawa fan. Idle Hands is one of my favorite movies.
Oh
I
yeah.
love that
Devon
Seth
Sawa's
Green
great.
voices Dower Dennis, the fucking
I'm
teddy bear, which was so I heard that voice and I was like,
TJ
is
dropped
that
that.
Seth? And it was in fact Seth. But I really love I really love the Chris character as someone who constantly has hand sanitizer and is constantly using it everywhere. especially after the pandemic was at its peak. I sympathize with Chris and his struggle, especially getting ready to go into the workforce myself and being like, I don't know how I'm gonna interact around people anymore. This is not. I haven't had to do this in a long time.
It's gonna be great.
Um, but yeah, I really like Chris,
Hmm.
and you love to hate Brian, played by what is
Yeah.
it, Stephen Peck. Just such a great kiss ass
He plays him
assistant
so
manager.
well,
Yeah, just like
and he's
really
just,
nailed the role.
uh, he's just such a dick.
Yeah, you just, and then at the end too, he bites Ken during their struggle, and well, the thing I didn't understand too is like I don't remember anyone in this movie getting infected through a bite.
Right, because they were talking
Yeah,
about that
that's true.
employee of the month who got killed, but she got the
Yeah, she got
stuff in her face and
the
then something through her throat, right?
cum web or whatever you want to call that.
I don't wanna
Uh,
call it that. I don't wanna call it that.
or the jizz
That
web
is
then I guess I don't know
Listen, if I'm gonna
whatever you want
call
to
it
say.
anything, it's not that.
Yeah, but she got it
This
and
isn't Spider-Man.
it shot out her throat.
Mhm.
And you're like, oh, she's dead. But then she comes back, but only temporarily. Like
Yeah.
she comes back and
Yeah,
ultimately dies because
See,
you don't have to shoot them in the head in this universe. They just have
right.
to take basically terminal violent damage, and then they can.
Maybe they were just going on based on assumptions of, what everybody thinks,
Yeah,
you know,
true.
a bite, if you get bitten, you're infected,
yeah, because
makes
everyone else
sense.
pretty much gets the web in their mouth, and then bada boom. Because even Jay
Mhm.
White was like he gets it on his arm, and I'm like, is he infected? Because he does
Mhm.
like the sacrifice play
Mhm.
at that moment like he is infected, and he's like, I'm gonna go out anyway, so I'm gonna go out saving my boy Chris. um and then I'm gonna hold you down. I don't know, like that was a running line throughout the movie, and I was like, I don't know, I've
'Cause
ever
they
heard
were
it said like that, but okay.
Yeah, I know, yeah, they were trying to
uh
teach Chris.
but again,
uh,
I don't know the youth. I don't know what the youths talk like.
Me either.
I'm still trying to catch up on Bay and all that stuff, so who knows,
I don't
maybe
think
at
that's
the
a thing
time.
anymore.
I don't think it is. Now
I
you got
think
to
you
call
are
him like a
way
Swoopy
behind.
Boop or something. I don't know what it is. But yeah, the cast was really great. Glenn, you're always kind of you always kind of have a more of a critical eye on the camera and lighting stuff
Sure.
for this. Did this was this okay for you? Did this bug you at all? What was your thoughts on that?
No, it didn't actually really bug me. It's very modern, low budget horror where it's like overly colorful, and very saturated, which is fine if that's what you're going for. Um,
That's what you're into.
yeah, exactly. Um, yeah, there wasn't anything actually very glaring, I don't think.
Mm.
Which is weird because normally I'm like, "Ooh, I don't like this." Uh,
I don't like this at all.
no, it, it was competently done. I mean,
Alright.
there was a few
Yeah,
times that I thought the framing was weird, but like that's just me being a nitpicking person. Like, eh.
yeah. No, I think I liked it. I thought it was well shot. I like the music, and it turns out the music, as credited here on IMDb, was done by Fallout Boy's Patrick Stump.
What?
What?
I
Yeah,
worked
Oh,
on one day of his short film before we
what, sh-
moved.
what short film? What?
Uh, Moustachette. I don't even know if it ever came out, but we had done a web series with, Mark Feuerstein of Royal Pains fame. Um, to me, he will always be Sandra Bullock's husband from Practical Magic.
that's fair.
Um, sweet guy. So we did he really wanted to do this web series. I don't even know how the hell we got onto that, but we were pulled onto it. TJ and I did it. TJ's actually in it. Oh, what?
That's right. I'm famous,
He's an actor.
very famous.
And we worked on it, and then one of the producers for that was doing a short film with Patrick Stump, and we could only work or did you work on it, T? I worked on it like one day.
I don't think I did work on it.
I almost was gonna teach Patrick Stump how to play solitaire, but there were no cards there, and I'm like, "Well, I will confuse the fuck out of you with
That would
no
make it
cards."
hard.
I don't know how to
Um,
play solitaire.
it's fun. It's a good time. But I used to play it all the time on the computer, years ago. Anyway, um, nice guy, yeah, but,
Yeah,
like, one day
exciting to
because
see.
we literally moved, like, the next day.
Yeah, exciting to see. Because I listen. I don't know if they're still popular, but I like Fallout Boy.
I love Fall Out Boy.
I worked
I
with
mean,
Pete Wentz of Fallout Boy on a short. So Denise and I have
yeah,
half a Fallout Boy under our belt right
hey,
now.
we do, look at that.
That's right.
We,
That's right.
we're conquering the industry one famous person at a time, one
One
day at a time.
one Fallout Boy at a time.
I mean, that last album that I mean, I don't think it was their last album, but that one with
No, I think they've done
that
like
had, like, Elton John on it.
3 of them since then.
3.
Yeah,
Why
they
haven't we listened to them?
I
Sorry,
don't
guys.
I don't know. I don't know why.
Because that
Um,
album was fucking awesome.
yeah, that was a good album. So it
Like,
was
it was
fire,
sick.
as the kids used to say.
What do they say
Um,
now?
I don't know what they say now. I think I know they say Ohio if it's bad.
Oh.
That's funny.
That's the new slang for like
Shouldn't it be
if it's
like
bad.
Texas or Florida?
No, apparently it's Ohio if it's like boring and dumb. Um,
But
so
if it's, like, bad and stupid, it should be like, "Oh, that's so Texas," or
yeah, or
"That's
like
so
TF for
Florida."
short. But yeah, so this was directed by Casey Tebow, um,
Okay.
who I'd never heard of. He looks like a cool guy. He looks like someone who likes to party.
He looks like a
Um,
cool guy.
but he's got his director credits. I don't really see like a lot of stuff that a lot of like music stuff, like a lot of Aerosmith music videos.
Really?
Yeah,
He's got
it
like a
said he cut his teeth doing music videos.
yeah, he got like a Tech Nine short who's fucking rad. Tech Nines, that's pretty cool.
9.
Um, but yeah, like surprising to see someone with a music video background like that putting out something like this because that was pretty good. Uh, from a
Mhm.
directing standpoint, you had Devin Sawa was a EP on this, and Bruce Campbell was a producer, so maybe they had some good chops, some good support from some industry veterans
Mhm.
in the features world. But but yeah, like all in all, I think he did a good job. But I'm sad to see that he doesn't have much coming up.
Oh,
Um,
really? Oh, wow, they shot this right when the pandemic, like, was full swing.
Yeah.
They shot it November 16th to December 16th in 2020.
wow,
Like,
yes,
Babies
this
R
was.
Us. Hmm,
Oh, I wonder if it was like a Babies R Us that had gone out of business.
probably.
Yeah, and they're
Probably.
like, we can capitalize on this. We can jump in this now. This is fantastic.
It's fantastic. Way to go, guys. What?
Yeah, you did it, huzzah! Um,
Mm,
yeah, like I love a good location, and like you can do so much like that. It's because the creature effects in this are good. Like they're not bad. Like
mhm.
they're solid. I some of
They
them
look
don't
to be
make sense to
practical.
me in the world, but like great use of practical effects.
Mhm.
Um, but
Good
like
time.
you get to stretch your budget so much further when you're in one location.
Oh my
If it
god.
was a closed down Babies R Us that still had all their shelving and shit up, you go wild. Like you could break shit,
Sick.
you can get blood on the floor, not even worry about it afterwards. Like that's like just fucking
Mhm.
go.
My
Yeah.
So
god.
it was cool to see like a single location like that get used. It had some terrible CG fire at the end and
Well, I mean, listen, it was a big fire,
it was a big
so
fire. You're not gonna burn that Babies R Us to the ground like they would have
no.
done.
I normally hate on CGI, but I actually didn't hate it.
You didn't mind it? Come here, baby.
I didn't because the end seemed to me at least, or maybe this is just the way I took it. Like a 50s or 60s like monster movie or even like a
Mm,
Godzilla-esque where like the
okay.
effects aren't great
Yeah.
because like the monster doesn't move really.
No.
It's always like
That's true.
behind.
Well, they can only afford to build the half of it.
Well, like I think it was a miniature that they comped in. I'm not sure. I would love to know. I don't think
Right.
it was CG.
No, I think the monster itself was practical. How big it was, yeah, I don't know if it was like a scaled down model. I don't see it being a proper miniature. but something maybe half scale could have been done because
Mhm.
Right.
it's pretty detailed, and it's wet and it's like glossy and but
Like
like
I kind of wonder if they didn't do it like Godzilla style, like a dude in a suit on like a whatever, a half 3/4 scale, not a 3/4.
Yeah. Oh, baby.
Uh, I kind of liked that, which made me like overlook because the fire was bad. I agree, but like
yeah.
overlook the like that aspect of it. Uh, it reminded me of another movie that I'm sure was not an influence, but whatever. Uh, The
Which one?
Cat from 1991. It's a Hong Kong crazy movie that we might watch sometime.
I'm sure we
We
will,
can only
Glenn.
hope. We can only hope.
I only say that because like it's a giant monster that like takes place at the end on like a rooftop. It
Mm,
also glows, but they certainly didn't see this.
you never know.
I
You never
liked it
know,
too.
Glenn.
Like that, the end monster was fun. In like, and again, like maybe at the time it was, it was a darker time. Maybe I was being a little overcritical of it the first time around because watching it the second
Yeah.
time around, there's a dog barking outside.
Yep.
I'm gonna shut this window real quick because it's like echoing in my ears. Go ahead,
Oh,
D.
sorry.
Vamp.
Okay. There's a cat purring in my microphone. I don't know what to tell you. Um, it was a darker time, and I mean, like, to be honest, when I heard that this was coming out, I was like, "Well, that's fucking brilliant."
Oh yeah.
Mm.
Damn it, shit, how did I not think of that before? Why didn't I think of it? And, there are reasons, but still. It's like, fuck, that was what a great idea. And maybe I had just sort of built it up in my mind to be something um more akin to what I was thinking that it could be, but like I said, the second time around, it was great. Like I had a few picadillos, like I said, about certain characters, and they were basic and trite, but you're right, TJ. Like everybody sort of had their moment to sort of explain who they were. I
Mm.
wish it was a little more balanced, like with Chris, because Chris, I got a lot of Chris, and I think that might be one of the reasons I liked him so much. And poor like Devin Sawa, he was great, and I was so excited to see him in coming back. Like there's Chucky and there's this, and there's a lot more things that he's done recently, so that's really exciting. But it's really interesting because he was kind of a crappy character.
Yeah,
So
he was kind of an anti-hero.
yeah,
He wasn't your typical save the day kind of guy.
like he was an alcoholic, and at first you're like, "Oh, he's a good dad and he's dropping off his daughters and that's so cute." And then he's just kind of a dick at work, and he's like I made the joke before they made the joke cuz I had forgotten about it. I was like, "Oh, okay. Yeah, and here's he's flirting with a girl, dating a girl half his age." And then they make that joke, and then she's like talking about it, and she's like, "Oh, I'm sorry. You thought that this was more than it was?" And then the comment when Chris comes at him and he's like, "Oh yeah, I'm not one of your kids. We see each other far too much for that." Is like, "Oh man, that's a sick fucking burn, dude."
I know he's just but the thing with Ken that makes me both sympathize with him and also be very afraid for my future in the next few years is he's like, yeah, I got laid off and I told my wife it was going to be short term until the next thing, and then 10 years later, and I'm just like, oh my god, is that going to be me? Am I going to be, if I'm lucky, working at a toy store for 10 years? Making enough money to support a family, I guess. Like, oh god. But that like, especially now with so many people out of work, like
Mhm.
that kind of myself included, that kind of hit hard. And I was like, yeah, like people do that. Like, yeah, like I wonder what Ken did before this. What were his
Yeah,
dreams and aspirations that he then spent a decade as a fucking floor clerk at a toy store,
it
hating his life. Like,
hits a little close to home,
yeah.
especially since the pandemic. Also, you don't have to worry about supporting your family. You think you're going to get visitation on these girls? No way, Jose.
There's one. There's Percy, star of the
She's
show.
like, "Leave me alone."
Yeah, it looked like she really wanted to be on camera there.
Oh my
Yeah,
god, she
her
never
tail
wants
apparently does.
anything.
Yeah.
Seriously. Um but I mean, I'd watch this again, and I would recommend watching it because it is a fun, even though there are a lot of bits of commentary, social commentary, like horror does, and people don't appreciate it as
Yep.
much.
Yep.
It's also just a fun time, you know? There
Mhm.
are moments where these shoppers are attacking them and they are fighting back. So, I mean, that's also another correlation where people are getting attacked on a daily basis.
Yeah.
Now I have fur everywhere. Um, you know, whether it's verbally or physically, even more so nowadays, like they're getting attacked on a daily basis. So you can live vicariously through, yes, I can fight back because they're infected, they're zombies, they're, you know, whatever this monster is.
Yeah. Because people can be real shitty, especially to
Oh
retail people.
my gosh.
Dear God, I worked at the Gap for a while, and luckily, I never really had to deal with that because I just got to sit up front and dance with mannequins and bring people in the store. But yeah, I've heard horror stories, and Glenn, you probably have some working at American Eagle, I'm sure. Was it in a mall?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's yeah. I worked
Do
at the
they have
Gap in Beverly
standalone one? I don't
Center.
think they have standalone ones.
I don't. I have no idea. I've only been an American Eagle once, and it was when I first moved to California. I bought a pair of orange shorts, and that was it. It's the only one and only time I've ever been in California.
I've never been to American Eagle as a shopper because they don't like my body type. Even when I was skinnier, they didn't like my body type. So yeah.
Yeah,
Better
I can't.
than Abercrombie.
It's similar though.
Yeah, it's
Very
True.
similar.
all the same cut.
Them,
Um,
Aeropostale, yeah. It's all the A's.
yeah. So there,
A-holes.
we talked a little bit about the practical effects in this, which were pretty great. Did you guys have like any gore or practical effects moments that stuck out to you that made you go like, "Oh, dope"?
There was quite a bit,
Yeah.
honestly. Like, normally, things of this caliber, it's usually just blood.
Mm.
Like, I appreciated the amount of, like, viscera and whatever else.
Mhm. It's a lot of viscera.
There was. Like, the initial when he's like, "You need to go clean up the vomit," and it's just,
I
like,
was just gonna say that.
Yeah.
the entirety of the dude's innards on the floor
And there's that like
and spaghetti.
webby looking stuff that like
Mhm.
I
I
was
Like
like,
think
red and
oh,
webby.
I think I know
oh.
what that is. I because it also looks like this part of the stuff that they shoot out of their mouth.
Mm.
Mhm.
It's I th somebody tell me if I'm wrong. I think it's called caul fat, which is like webby fat that you get from I think it, like, is around, like, the kidneys or whatever in, like, a cow.
Look
I
at that,
listen,
Hey,
I took anatomy. I'm practically a doctor and I don't know that, so
Dr. D.
you have
you
impressed
use
me.
it to wrap, like, non-fattier cuts of meat.
Yeah, I've heard of this too. Like sometimes
Gross.
like
It looks fucking
yeah,
disgusting.
it looks really
It
gross. It
it
looks
sounds
like
fucking
a
disgusting.
tissue paper with holes in it. It's really fucking awful.
Yeah, but it's fat.
Yeah.
Anyways,
Mm.
Yeah.
I liked that and the initial vomit, but, like, I did kinda like that they were these weird I didn't think of them as chickens, but now that you say that, it makes sense.
You could see it, right?
I
Like the V
can.
shape in the mouth.
I kinda liked it, though. Like,
Yeah, I just
I
didn't know why.
oh, yeah, same. No idea.
I like it. I love the creature design. I think it looks fucking rad. But yeah, I just didn't know why.
Yeah, I like when something deviates from the just standard zombie. Not that there's anything wrong with a standard zombie, but, like, when something for no reason does it, even better.
When they're
Yeah.
adding to, you know,
Sure. Yeah.
adding to it, differentiating.
Yeah.
So there's I think it's when Emmett's changing, there's like this metamorphosis happening. Um
Mm.
and I thought that was pretty good. That was fun. You know, it's always a pleasure to see practical effects being utilized.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Especially like good transition effects like American Werewolf kind of set the bar.
Oh my
A lot
gosh.
of werewolf movies set the bar back in the Howling had some good stuff and
Mhm.
I mean, but the special effects in American Werewolf are some of the best I think of all time. The Thing is like my gold standard for practical effects.
As it
That
should
yeah,
be.
that's the best. That's the winner.
I think
Yeah, I think
American Werewolf won an Oscar, didn't
I
it?
did. Yeah, yeah, I think it did. But I think I liked the kaiju monster at the end because I liked when we punched in on it
Mm-hmm.
and we saw all the detail, the little eyeballs moving and the other little kind of
Mm-hmm.
little faces and
So
things.
many eyeballs.
Like if you pause it, you probably could have gotten a lot more out of
Yeah.
what that monster looked like. And the one chicken arm, like the one like little chicken arm that bats Brian across the parking lot like a little fly.
Uh,
Um, again, I'll never understand why it looked like a human turkey kind of vibe. Maybe because it was Black Friday and everyone had
There you
eaten a
go.
bunch of turkey the day before.
oh,
Maybe it was kind of assimilating
Sure.
what was in their stomachs as well.
Utilizing the DNA from
ooh,
everything.
Yeah, maybe that's why. Maybe we
Well
solved
done,
the riddle
TJ.
right there. Maybe it's like a
Well done.
turkey hybrid. But I like the
I'm gonna
two-headed
go with
monster.
that. I like that.
Yeah, I
You
like
solved
kaijus
it.
though. Like I'm a big fan of like big monster kaiju battles. They're super fun. And
Mhm.
this one was kind of fun. I liked I liked the Jay White kill because I thought it was fun to see like a lot of that white webbing come down and like grab him in the head
Mm-hmm.
and pull him up and fucking gut him.
Mhm.
Sad to see the character go out because it's a really fun character who I don't know if they took him out too soon. I feel like he could have done a little more. But the
I feel like he should have not been taken out at all.
yeah, or
That's
at
just me.
least like give us like a false kill and like get him back at
Ow.
the end, like kicking in a door.
Don't bite me.
Um, that was like I think probably the only kill that didn't feel quite right.
Mhm.
But
Hmm.
maybe it's just
Yeah,
because Michael J. White's such a badass that you're like,
quite literally.
Maybe
yeah.
he had scheduling issues.
He's like, I'm
Maybe.
only working 2 days on this show. Like, I want to come in, I want to shoot a bunch of guys with a nail gun, kick some ass, and then get me out of there. And they're like, done,
Done.
done and done. Um,
Um, can I
what do you
just
got? The
say I have a bone to pick?
a turkey bone?
A
A
turkey bone.
wishbone.
Um, it's probably the safest place, but you on Ken hiding liquor in the bathroom, like you
I mean, he had wine in the bathroom. It looked like a bottle of
alcohol, liquor,
wine.
whatever. It was still gross. Okay,
I mean, it was in the ceiling blocks. If anything, it was just in like
listen,
asbestos
that,
maybe up there or something.
that's all.
Nothing dangerous.
But then you got to go retrieve it, and yeah, no, too close to the bathroom, especially men's bathroom. Come on now,
Well, I mean, he couldn't go in the ladies.
it's true. It's true. I'm just saying the
It's
men's
against store
bathroom.
policy.
It's
They're
true.
really big on policy,
Yeah, like he could have done.
corporate.
I mean, yeah, but where else he can hide it?
It's
You know what I
just
mean?
gross. I'm just saying it's
Like
gross.
you can't
I
cut open
don't know. He could cut up in a
uh,
teddy bear,
you can't cut open a Dower Dennis. And
that big old giant
can we
teddy
talk
bear.
about Dower Dennis and how bad I
Yes,
want that teddy bear? That teddy bear is my spirit animal right now. Like that teddy bear is like everything
they could
about
just
me,
make it.
and I'm so glad to see our buddy Seth got to voice that because that was a nice surprise. And I
Yeah.
bet that was like a call too with Devin Sawa producing this. He probably called Seth from their Idle Hands days and said, "Hey man, I want you to come do this thing." And he was like, "I'll
Hey,
do a
buddy.
voice. I'll record the voice at my house from my phone, and I'll send it into you."
Yeah.
Um,
Probably.
but yeah, Dower Dennis might be my favorite character in the movie because he speaks to me in a way these days that very few things in movies do. Just such a miserable and hurt bear. Who made that toy? Like who came up
He's,
with Dower Dennis?
you know who he is, and God bless him. He's the fucking teddy bear from Supernatural.
Oh man,
You
yeah, big teddy
remember
bear.
the? So there is an episode, Glenn, of Supernatural where people
It's a
discover that they
cartoon.
can make no cartoon. What? No.
It's a joke. Go on.
Where people can go to like a fountain and make wishes, but the
Okay.
wishes turn bad.
As they
So
often
this
do.
little yeah, this little girl wishes that her teddy bear was alive, and he's this
Okay.
big giant teddy bear, and he's like consumed news, and he's watched all of the news, and he's as you would imagine an innocent bear would feel after discovering the depravity that the human beings can sink to.
Okay. All
And he
right.
is the most I mean, like, he's ordering fucking liquor. He's he's just like the
And he
most
can't
depressed bear
die.
ever. He
Despite his best
Oh.
attempts, he can't
he
die.
tries to kill us.
so many times, and it's
All
such
It's
a
right,
good
so
I'm
episode.
gonna seek this episode out.
Yeah,
it's
it's a good. It's
fucking
a good. If you're only gonna watch
amazing.
one, it's a good one to watch. Ted Raimi's
It's
in
Okay.
it as well. It's a good
oh, Ted
episode.
Raimi's in it. Yes, so good.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay, even better. Okay, yeah, I'm gonna seek this out.
yeah. But Dower
I'll
Dennis
I'll
to
find it for you.
to bring it back to favorite characters. Dower Dennis is my favorite character in this movie. He's a legend. What a legend, Dower Dennis. I'd buy that bear if they
We'll,
merchandised it.
we'll make you a teddy bear. We've got a lot of excuse me, very talented inventor friends. I feel like somebody
Yeah,
could make you a
I
teddy
feel
bear.
like you just get Jules to record the dialogue. He's got a
Mm,
good voice for a Dower Dennis.
yeah,
Um, but yeah, so all in all, I think I love the fact that we're doing more holidays this year. Like we're getting into the Thanksgiving stuff and not just Thanksgiving. And I
Hmm.
love that we got to talk about a Black Friday movie because we've never done that before. And there's not a ton of them. There are other Black Friday movies. There's one from
Really?
early '90s, I think. And then there's one that looked like it was a play that had been recorded and turned into a movie, maybe.
What a
But
play!
yeah, yeah. There's a Black Friday from uh, there's a horror musical called Black Friday,
What?
and then there's apparently a Black Friday from 1940 starring Boris Karloff and Bela Lugosi. And
I'm sure that's.
I don't think it's about the same thing.
Yeah, I
I know.
doubt it.
Um, but I believe the musical is in fact it's in when a hot new toy incites riots on Black Friday, the shoppers of Hatchetfield's Lakeside Mall must battle the brainwashed followers of a godlike being Wiggly.
And
Um,
this is the musical one?
this is the musical one, yeah.
That's
Yeah,
amazing.
I want to check that out at some point. Maybe not on the show, but definitely gonna check that one out. But yeah, it's a good movie. I think like we can start going through. There's like the thing is there's not a ton to talk about because the action picks up fast. A bunch of people go out for some reason. They usher the shoppers out of the store and they come back in as zombies. I
I
thought that
know.
was
Yeah.
a little
Yeah,
weird.
there were a few plot holes,
Hmm.
if you
Like
will. I
we
mean,
can't afford all these extras. Let's make the announcement to get all the shoppers out of the store because someone got hit with a pink truck.
right.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so it's sometimes it's hard being producers and watching movies because you're just like, oh, I know why they did that.
Wait a
Like
second.
we can't have a store full of zombies and extras running around here. We got to get this down. Even the other workers in the store, they're like, what about the other workers that are on the floor? And they open the door and it's just a bunch of dummies getting dragged across the floor. And it's like, and
Oh
that's
no.
how you save money on cast like that. It's a big cast. But
Yep.
yeah, is there anything else you guys want to chat about in regards to Black Friday? Or should we start to wrap out the show?
Um, I mean, it's intro. I can tell a funny story about Black Friday.
Please do.
It's
Yeah.
fucking awful. Okay, so back in the days of yore, when you would get up and go shopping, or some would get up and go shopping, and I mean, like I had gone shopping when it was like, okay, you get up at like 1 or 2 in the morning and get in line, it would be cool. And then it got crazy, right? People were standing in line the night before, and then they were opening the night before.
Hmm.
So one year I was running around shopping for my sister's kids because, the other sisters, we would split up and hit all the different toy stores and whatnot so that we could get what the kids wanted for Christmas. And one year I think it was, fuck, I don't even know, maybe Big Lots down in Texas. But I feel like it was before Big Lots was Big Lots. So I don't know. It was just like a little store in the mall. And I just had this like wave of like nausea come over me and my face got hot. And I had just checked out. And then I just vomited all over the floor.
In the
I
store?
yes, I felt fucking terrible. I was like, I'm so sorry. I was like, give me the paper towels. I'll clean it up. They're like, no, it's okay. We'll get it. They're like, get the fuck out. I felt terrible. I felt so terrible. I don't know what it was. I don't know if I had just like, you know, when you like don't get a lot of sleep and then you like you've I don't know, maybe had some soda too late or whatever. Like it was that.
Soda?
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
It was I don't know cuz it didn't happen again the rest of the day and I was fine, but I just
Yeah, because you emptied out in that store.
felt fucking awful.
Let me ask you, were there livers and kidneys and a bunch of that fat that Glenn mentioned on the floor?
Yeah, right.
No.
No? Okay. Well, at
Gross.
least we you weren't going to turn into a turkey zombie, so that's pretty good.
I mean, I feel like if I haven't turned into a turkey zombie by now, we're safe,
Yeah,
you
I
know?
feel like we might be safe.
But it was and then I had to go to another store after that. I was like,
Oh
I
God.
felt fucking terrible. Like, I've no, I've never been so embarrassed. Probably, I've probably been. But anyway,
Yeah,
yeah.
I'm willing to bet there were other times where you were at that embarrassed, if not more embarrassed. But that's for another show. That's Denise and popcorn. That's a different.
That's
That's the
just me telling the story of my life.
that's it. All embarrassing stories.
Denise and popcorn. uh, it
uh,
was, yeah, it's great.
yeah. Listen, thanks for sharing, Denise, and thanks for taking the time to
I thought
tell
it
the
was
folks at
topical.
home
It
about your
sounds
vomitous
awful.
adventures on Black Friday.
Yeah, it was terrible.
Final thoughts, everybody. Final thoughts. Glenn, let's start with you since Denise just told her puke story.
Uh, this would if you're taking our advice from last week about putting on something with your family, this is a good double feature because it is the opposite of Pilgrim.
Yeah.
Not that Pilgrim is bad, but like Pilgrim takes half of its runtime to get anywhere, and this one before the credits roll, uh, the opening credits, it's
Mhm.
like already in it. There's a
Just
jump
ramping up.
scare that I actually really enjoyed. I could have swore when they did like the scanning shot of the normal shoppers, a couple of them were in like
They were,
zombie-esque. Oh, okay.
Mhm.
yeah.
They were getting sick.
Yeah.
How that happened, I don't quite know, but
Maybe
I
they yeah, that's true. Because I mean,
I
maybe
think it
one of
was
the asteroids came out.
I
'Cause they
just
were
took
like
it as like this was like the movie commenting.
well, no, but I mean, because remember when the news came on later, they're like, "Don't touch them." So they were all over the place.
yeah,
So they
Oh,
must
that's
have
true.
touched
Because it
them.
ends with you see a second one, like, further in
yeah. I
town.
think there's two
Mhm.
actually. You might see two of them. There's like
Oh.
another one even further off in the distance in the right of frame, if I'm not mistaken.
Oh, well,
But
alright.
I could be
But
wrong.
that's the mega monster. Like there could have been just more little meteors all over the place.
Yeah,
That's true.
it's a meteor storm.
Uh, yeah, no, I like this. Again, it's a good one to put on with family after everyone's done watching a Charlie Brown
After you've
Thanksgiving.
eaten,
Yes, especially
probably.
after you've eaten.
Yeah,
Yeah.
So they
especially if you're
can
squeamish.
big lots all over your living room floor.
Stop it.
What
It
about
might
you,
not have
D?
been that
Final
far.
thoughts on Black Friday?
Um, it's a watch for me. It's a rewatch for me. I recommend it because it's interestingly enough, even though there are many real life correlations and there's some serious subject matter in there, right? Like unfulfilled potential, where's my life going,
Everything we're working through right
relationships,
now.
working through everything. It still didn't feel quite as heavy as Pilgrim,
Mm-hmm.
Mm-mm.
if that makes sense.
Yeah.
So, um, it is I would watch this second to like lighten the mood, a little levity.
Yeah.
Oh,
Um,
sure.
but yeah, it's a rewatch for me, and I recommend.
Yeah. It does a really good job of being I don't know if it's officially classified as such, but it does a good job as being a horror comedy,
Hmm.
in my opinion. And I think that those are always tough to do and get right without, seem like you're shitting on the genre. Obviously
Mhm.
Bruce Campbell is with Evil Dead and Sam Raimi and that
Royalty.
like that kind of setting the bar for that kind of slapsticky horror. It's definitely a watch for me. I'd highly recommend this one. I think it's really fun. You know, it's a like, listen, if you smoke weed, like get high and watch this thing. It'd be super fun.
Yeah.
Because it's just got that vibe. Like it's got fun monsters that you don't quite understand, but they're really cool. And if you can just kind of shut your brain off for a while and enjoy a well-made horror comedy, you know, um, that's got some good scares and some good nightmare fuel in it and some really good acting. Um, I think it's definitely a watch for me. I would check it out and check it out on Black Friday. You know, like you know, or like transition it from
Yeah.
getting drunk with your family on Thanksgiving and at 12:01 throw this on and send everybody to bed with a giant turkey human hybrid kaiju and a burning Babies R Us and call it a day right there. But yeah, that's it. That's the show. Um, this has been Blood and Popcorn, and we were talking about Black Friday from
Mhm.
2021. And next week, we'll continue on our journey for through the holidays of horror with Eli Roth's Thanksgiving, which Denise and I haven't seen, but Glenn, I believe, has.
I
So
have.
this will be fun to actually finally get to watch this. I bought this movie a while back specifically to watch it this year on Blood and Popcorn. So I'm excited to get into that next week. And that'll be on. Well, I guess we'll have to reassess the calendar now. So
We're
we'll
yeah,
have to see when this show will air next.
we need
But
to
that'll be
keep
the
it
next episode.
loose because of life.
Yeah, loose because of life. All the shows moving forward are going to be a little more loose because of life. But yeah, that's it. Denise, Glenn, as always, it's been a pleasure chatting horror with you here on Blood and Popcorn. And
Same
to those
here.
of you listening or watching at home, take care of yourselves, take care of each other. And until we meet again, keep the scream alive. A good night.